Hello again everyone. Today's video is a skincare related video. One of the top 5 questions I get asked is, Sheri, I have pores. What can I do about these enlarged pores? So I decided it's about time that I film a video on this because I get asked that question so many times. And I don't know, some of the information here might be a little bit surprising to you. We're going to talk about why pores appear enlarged and what you could actually do about it, if anything at all. So the first thing is this: having pores is normal. Normal. I have pores, you have pores, everybody have pores. A lot of the pictures on Instagram and so on are filtered, are smoothed out, that kind of thing, to make, people appear as though they have like zero pores. But pores on your face or on your skin is completely natural because we have hair follicles, and that's what pores are. Pores are the places where you have hair follicles. Hair grows out of those areas, and so the size of the pore sometimes is dependent on the size of your hair follicle, and things happen over time. They appear sometimes bigger than usual at certain times and so on, or you may notice over time they are appearing enlarged. And it's a concern for a lot of people because when you wear makeup, it doesn't look as smooth and that kind of thing. So everybody's concerned, or not everybody, maybe a lot of people are concerned about what to do about these pores. So the first thing we're going to talk about is why pores appear enlarged, what's causing it, and then we're going to talk about how we could deal with it, if we can deal with it at all. Now, notice that I'm talking about appearing enlarged, okay? And some people will say that, their pores shrink or their pores are larger, that kind of thing. And if you talk to dermatologists or estheticians, they will tell you that really and truly, only if you do things like laser resurfacing and that kind of thing can you actually physically probably affect the pore size. But there are reasons why pores appear enlarged. So the first thing we should note, we are people in the Caribbean, and did you know that people of our ancestry, people of African descent and of East Indian descent, are more prone to have larger pores? So already, because of our ethnicity, we are already prone. More than maybe Caucasian people or people of another race. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, simply by getting older, your pores will appear larger. And why? Because as your skin ages, you lose elasticity of the skin. And when we're talking about elasticity of the skin, we're talking about the structure of the skin, the internal part of your skin that's actually making your skin firm. So that's why when everybody's getting older, we're like, why is my neck sagging? Why is my face sagging? And everybody looking for a firming cream, because we're trying to get back that bounciness, that elasticity that we had when we were younger. And as you age, that same thing that causes your entire face or your skin all over your body to be firm, it decreases. So that is the same thing that actually keeps your pores looking a little bit closed or smaller, and as that decreases, the pores will appear larger. The third thing is that, did you know that your pore size actually fluctuates during your menstrual cycle? Hormones have an effect on pores. So if you pay attention to how your skin looks at different types of your cycle, you would see that the largest pore size usually happens during ovulation. And I actually did a live, probably more than a year ago on Facebook, where I talked about how your skin changes during your menstrual cycle, or each week of your menstrual cycle. And so my skincare actually changes each week of my menstrual cycle, based on what's happening with my skin and how I need to treat with it. Because some people, it's a little bit more tricky than some, because some people, hormones affect their skin a little bit more than some. But yeah, pay attention to it, that during the week that you ovulate, the pores appear a little bit larger. What else causes pores to appear larger? Simply because they're filled. They're filled with something. So increased sebum production, which is increased oil production. So you'd find that a lot of people who have oily skin tend to complain about this, because literally the skin is producing oil. It's filling up the pores. The pores are also filled with grime, with dirt, with things that you're putting on top of it. So once the pores are filled, think about if you have a little bit of like a piece of plastic or something that's bouncy, or even a piece of plasticine, you keep stuffing things in that, and you're going to see that thing stretch and stretch and stretch. So basically, sometimes some people's pores appear larger because it's actually filled with gunk. It's filled with oil, it's filled with sebum, it's filled with all kinds of dead skin cells and that kind of thing, and other things that are collected during the day. The other thing that I mentioned earlier was your hair follicle size. So some people have thinner hairs, some people have thicker hairs. The thicker your hair follicle size, the larger your pores are going to appear. The next thing that affects, pores looking enlarged are the use of comedogenic products. How many of us pick up products and actually check to see, is this going to be pore clogging? In skincare, yes, because a lot of times skincare products are usually using that now as a marketing tool to say, oh, it's not going to clog your pores. But what about your makeup? What about your primers? Like a lot of people are using pore filling primers or pore smoothing primers, and nothing is essentially wrong with that. But if you're using that as your main primer every single day, you know why it's pore smoothing and pore filling? Because the product that they use is actually filling your pores or putting something into the pore, and guess what? The more you stuff into that, the larger it's going to appear. So it's actually going to, put something in there, kind of like a putty, so that when you put on your foundation, it looks smoother, but you're actually over time making your pore get bigger or stretched out. And if you keep stretching that, if you keep affecting elasticity of something, it's going to also lose the elasticity. The last thing that I'm going to mention, and by the way, what I'm talking about is not exhaustive. I'm trying to compress some of the more popular things that cause enlarged pores. The last thing that I'm going to mention, which is probably the most critical, is sun damage. So I want you to pause right now, including me, and just think about how many years you did not wear SPF. So all those rays were damaging your skin. And when I say damaging, the sun rays actually affect the elasticity and the structure of the skin. The same thing that we were talking about, that your body naturally loses as you age, the sun actually also decreases that because we were not wearing protection. So now for years you did not wear SPF and you find your pores are getting larger and you want to fix it overnight. Honey, I'm sorry, sis. It ain't going to work so, because we're literally trying to fix a problem that we created over a long period of time. So not wearing SPF is one of the biggest mistakes. And one of the things that sun damage leads to so many things, not just hyperpigmentation. It's not only the number one cause of aging or making you look older because of photo damage, but it's also going to damage the structure of your skin, and therefore your pores will appear enlarged. So what can you actually do? Now, and it's going to be directly related to the causes that I mentioned. That's one. And you're also going to be hearing me mention things that you've heard me mention before. And that's why these elements of skincare are so important, because it's hitting on so many different things. And the first one is keeping your skin actually moisturized. Now, for people who pores appear enlarged because of extra sebum production, one of the reasons why your skin is producing extra oil is because it's not properly moisturized. So you want to make sure that you're moisturizing your skin to cause an effect of your skin actually producing less sebum, hence less sebum production or collection in your pores, hence, your pores not looking as bad. Now, I will notice, for example, I will start the day with my skin looking a particular way, and as the day progresses, my pores start to look a little bit larger. That's because the oil and stuff is gathering. So you really want to work on moisturizing, and ingredients of things like niacinamide, for example, which help with balancing sebum, are great ingredients that you can actually use during the day to help control that extra sebum coming out to fill up your pores. The next thing that I'm going to talk about, if you check one of my recent videos where we talk all about exfoliation, I know it was a little bit long, but when you get a chance to really sit down and listen to the part, especially about chemical exfoliation and what it do, the AHAs and the BHAs, that's one of the reasons why we're using it, because it's actually helping to clean out the pores. If you clean out the pores and you remove the stuff, the pore is not going to appear stretched and enlarged. And chemical exfoliation, alpha hydroxy acids and beta hydroxy acids, help to clean and exfoliate your pores. So keep that in mind. The next thing that I'm going to talk about is retinoids or retinol. And that's also one of the reasons, similar to AHAs and BHAs, why we use retinoids, and why dermatologists and estheticians will also recommend that for you if you have enlarged pores. It's also because it encourages cell turnover. So in encouraging cell turnover, it's going to unclog your pores and help them to appear smaller. So you're hearing already about some ingredients that you should be having in your skincare routine. The next thing is actually cleansing your skin properly. Now, let me just mention this here. Guys those of you who are using wipes on a daily to remove your makeup, please stop it. Wipes are actually doing you sometimes a little bit more harm than good, because it's actually not really properly removing your makeup. That's why I am one of the people that really go for a cleansing balm or cleansing oil, because the oil attracts oil and it really actually breaks it down to remove the makeup. When you use a wipe, you're really just smearing everything all over, and then you have to be using a whole set of other things. You have to use micellar water, and you're doing all of this thing to make sure your pores are clean. And the truth is, everything didn't really come out because that wipe probably removed the surface of the foundation or something, but it really just smeared stuff. So all the oil and stuff that collected in your pores really wasn't broken down, and it didn't come off. So cleanse your skin properly. Wipes really should be our last resort. You're probably traveling, a once in a while thing to remove swatches, that kind of thing, but it really shouldn't be your go-to way of removing your makeup. Cleanse your skin properly. We've talked about it before. Using a sonic brush, using a spin brush, those things are going to clear your pores properly, right? And also, when we talk about cleansing your skin, a lot of us use clay masks or clay-based masks because, you know, a lot of them are marketed to tighten pores. But the reason why they say that is because clay masks will actually, you will actually feel in them pulling stuff out of the skin. So in pulling the gunk out, it's going to make your pores appear smaller because of course there's nothing in there to stretch it out. And who could guess what's the last thing that I'm going to mention in terms of treating with enlarged pores? I'm waiting for you to say it. SPF. Obviously sunscreen, sun protection, because the longer you continue not wearing your sunscreen, not wearing your sun protection, the worse you're going to make your skin when it comes to hyperpigmentation, when it comes to enlarged pores, when it comes to aging, photo damage, all of that. Listen to me, SPF is probably the best thing if you're using nothing else to protect your skin for a number of reasons. So don't let sun damage continue to make the situation worse, because some people, they want to be using all the other ingredients, all the other products, all the serums and the toners that have ingredients for pores, and then no sun protection. That ain't making no sense. No, honey. No, forget it. Please, guys, I can't say it enough. There are so many good SPFs on the market now. Please stop saying it makes me greasy. There are so many lovely lightweight ones. If chemical SPF is not working for you, try mineral. Just get something. Start to protect your skin. It's going to go a long way. And finally, I just want to say this, like, seriously, don't expect that your pores going to suddenly disappear. And also keep in mind that this damage or these issues took years or occurred over years. You're not going to fix it overnight. Consistent skincare is what's going to get you to where you want to be. Please remember to like, subscribe, leave some comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.